J's Prescription for Health. I'm your host, Dr. Malea Jensen. I am speaking to you on Instagram and YouTube this morning. A little different. So you YouTubers, this is your chance to ask questions. Same with Instagram. You know how it works. So this is your chance. Ask your health questions to Dr. Jensen. I'll try to come up with a good of an answer. If I do not know the answer, I will tell you I don't know. So you guys, where are you listening from? We have a special day today. It is my little girl's birthday. Her name is Tootsie. She is 6 today. She is my little mini dachshund. I would have had her live on here, but I gave her a treat. She is eating I think it's a duck foot today. So that is really good collagen. Timber is eating a beef trachea. So those are their treats. I try to keep them busy while I do these live streams. So Tootsie is, I don't know if you can hear her crunching, but she is a very loud mini dachshund. She's chomping away. All right, let's see. We got some, who is joining us? Grameems and you guys are joining. Doesn't look like there's any questions on YouTube yet. Let me see about Instagram. No, you guys just like to listen to me talk. I thought we would talk briefly about thyroid. In my last 10 years of practice, I have noticed a significant increase in thyroid disorders, hypothyroid. I don't see as much hyperthyroid, but in all reality, it is kind of one and the same. Hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism is basically, they're both inflammatory. Something in our body is inflamed, causing thyroid disorders, okay? And there are many, many, many contributors. We can talk about a few, but first off, I want to just give you some basic symptoms of hypothyroid. Some of you might not experience any of them. Some of you might experience all of them. I think it is important to check thyroid because it's associated with some other things that we do look at, and we always wonder, what is going on. Diane Rodriguez, it looks like you asked to be in the live video, but we probably will not do that this morning. I don't usually invite people on just spur of the moment, okay? So if you have a question, ask away, push the little bubble with the question mark in it, or simply ask a question in the comments and I will try to watch them. Good morning, Regina. It's good to see you guys. All right. Okay, so thyroid. When we check thyroid, do not settle for your doctor to simply check a TSH. It's not enough. TSH fluctuates throughout the day. It's simply not a good screening tool. We want to have you guys get a free T3, a free T4, a reverse T3, as well as checking antibodies. You would be surprised how many people in the last 5 to 10 years are getting Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Itis, anytime the word or the suffix, or not suffix, it would be maybe it is a suffix. I can't remember. So when anything ends in itis, it means inflammation. So itis, thyroiditis, inflammation of the thyroid gland. Thyroid sits in your neck, and surrounding it are parathyroid glands. Okay, they secrete parathyroid hormone. The thyroid gland produces or secretes T4. 100% of your T4 is secreted from your thyroid gland. 20% of your T3 is secreted from your thyroid gland. Where's the other 80%? I'm glad you asked. Oh, hey, Dr. Christy. Dr. Christy is over on YouTube today. She is with us from Delaware. So you guys, I'm live on YouTube and Instagram. So it is working over there on YouTube. So I'm trying to hit some YouTubers. We'll see if we get any questions from over there. The only thing is the Facebookers are losing out. But hopefully they have YouTube or they have Instagram and yeah. So Dr. Christy, while she just jumped onto YouTube, she probably wasn't listening about our conversation. Oh, sorry, Melanie. Yeah, I know. I did put a post over there on Facebook that we are going to be live this morning on YouTube and Instagram. So thanks for joining me over here on Instagram. Dr. Christy asks, what are your thoughts on antioxidants from plants? I believe that plants do have antioxidants. I do believe, unfortunately, that we probably cannot use the antioxidants. I believe that the anti-nutrients that are in plants is more detrimental than any antioxidants that a plant can give us. I truly believe that there are other things that we can eat that will boost our antioxidants, our antioxidant cascade. It's very important, and there are things that we do that actually harm that cascade. Anything from actually supplementing antioxidants in our, like just supplements, synthetic supplements, not the ones in our diet, not the ones that naturally come in our diet. But when it comes to plants, it really throws people off. Plants and fruits and vegetables, okay? When you talk about a plant, it could be anything. Anything that doesn't come from an animal comes from a plant. Anything that grows in the ground and is made to produce other things, like, so oats makes oatmeal. You know, any plant that grows in the ground, like yams or carrots or broccoli, things that we think of as healthy, it does throw us off because we've been taught to eat plants and not eat animals. So the antioxidants or the phytonutrients, we usually think of the nutrients, phytonutrients. I believe that much of those phytonutrients aren't being absorbed because of the anti-nutrients in the plants. There's more anti-nutrients than there are good phytonutrients or antioxidants. Oxalates and phytates block the absorption of many antioxidants or the phytonutrients. Even the nutrients that are in other foods like meat, the plants are blocking those. Oxalates and phytates will block vitamins, minerals, amino acids. So, you know, I always joke around about that you buy a really expensive ribeye steak for, say, $25, and you lay some asparagus or broccoli beside it, and then you might have a yam. You are destroying your $25 steak, making it worth about $5 because the amino acids and the nutrients in the steak, naturally occurring in the steak, are being blocked by the anti-nutrients in the plants. I know it sounds confusing. I know it goes against everything. And this is why we have paradigm clashes, you guys. Some people will say, okay, Dr. Jensen, they're plant-based. Let's just say they're plant-based. And they'll go, you know what? I can get on board with a little bit of what you're saying, Dr. Jensen. So that is why I cook my plants and then put them beside my steak. So people aren't just eating raw asparagus next to their steak. The thing is, in order to get rid of so they're right. They cooked it. They are absolutely right that the cooking will help diminish the amount of oxalates and phytates that are coming out of these plant-based foods. However, you would actually need to boil your plants for 15 minutes. And when we eat plants, we usually, like broccoli or asparagus or cauliflower, we just usually flash cook them. We want them just soft enough that they don't crunch. Or some people like them crunchy. I mean, everybody's a little different. But nonetheless, we're not cooking them enough to get rid of oxalates and phytates. in order to absorb the nutrients. So anti-nutrients of oxalates and phytates will block the vitamins, like B vitamins. So B12, people say, oh, I'm low on B12. Well, if you're eating a lot of plants, you're going to block the absorption of B12. Zinc, selenium, iron, the good amounts of iron that we need, we're blocking the absorption of iron. What about amino acids? Blocking those. Amino acids are proteins, the building blocks of proteins. So like that $25 steak, which you would hope to have, 100 grams of protein and amino acids, we're getting barely any. So I know it is, it's hard to grasp because we've been told that that fruits and vegetables are good for us. And I think the first time it ever became a question for me, because I was taught the same thing that you guys were. I ate meat and vegetables for years. And then I watched this lecture by Dr. Anthony Chaffee, and it was Plants Are Trying to Kill You. And since watching that video, I went almost cold turkey on eating any plants. I had already stopped eating any carbohydrate plants like oatmeal. And kind of to tie this in with the thyroid that I initially started talking about with hypothyroidism, if you guys think about it, there are, in these plants that I talk about, for instance, like broccoli or cauliflower or any soy, any like yams, these things, flaxseed's another one that I didn't quite grasp. But these foods also diminish our ability for our thyroid to function. Okay? Why is that? Why? By eating these certain plants, these, let's call them goitrogens, so that means they can cause goiter, enlarged, inflamed thyroid. Why? The thyroid is growing bigger to try to capture iodine. That's why we get nodules everywhere. Every organ, every cell in our body needs iodine. And so when we're eating these foods that actually decrease iodine, now our thyroid, which really relies on it to produce our hormones, that iodine, the diminished amounts of iodine, the thyroid lacks those ability to make the hormones. So that's why people get hypothyroid. So picture this. We have a child, an infant just born, and we put it to the breast and the baby's struggling. And so we switch it over to formula. Bad idea, but let's just say, I'm just giving you a scenario. Then the baby is eating this formula, and all of a sudden it's getting so much colic and it's getting irritable and it's just not thriving. So it stops to eat. It's really, and so you go to the doctor and the doctor says, oh, well, let's give it some a soy formula. So it's not going to have the whey and the casein, which is animal-based. So you switch it over to soy. What is that doing to their thyroid? Right on. Causing decreased thyroid function. It's causing a goitrogenic scenario in your infant. That's just one of the worst case scenarios. But what if you're a vegan and you're trying to get your protein? Okay? What if you're trying to get your protein and you start adding in more soy? Now your thyroid stops working. There's a lot going on in our body that it boggles my mind on. It boggles my mind when I'm trying to give a topic like today. I was struggling to decide what topic should we talk about, and I could talk just about thyroid and it will filter out into all of these other things. Like, we can talk about iodine. Yes, your body needs iodine. No, we do not get enough. Why don't we get enough? Well, we're eating foods that decrease the absorption. We might be getting enough, we're just not absorbing it, okay? Another thing, we drink fluorinated water. We use fluorinated toothpaste. What is it about fluoride? Fluoride is a halide, just like iodide, and it blocks the absorption of iodine. So every cell has iodine receptors. And so when we have taken iodine, that iodine will hit those receptors on the cells and allow the cells to work, including the thyroid cells. Now, if those cells with the receptors, the iodine receptors, what if I told you, good morning, touch of wood, what if I told you that the attraction from fluoride or chloride or bromide is actually stronger on the iodide receptor than iodine itself? So it's going to block the receptors so iodine can't attach and do its duties. We are being inundated by that every single day. Now I know that there are, oh, that's a good question, Diva. Let me answer that question here. Diva is asking about iodized salt. Iodized salt actually came, I can't remember the date, but when Morton Light came out with iodized salt, because the states I'm talking about the United States, the states in the middle of the country, we called it the goiter belt. And these doctors were finding out, oh my gosh, all these people are getting goiter and they live in this certain area of the United States. And so they figured out it was a lack of iodine. So they started iodizing the salt. So Morton started iodizing the salt. Unfortunately, the salt of this particular iodized salt is processed. It's been bleached and chloridated and fluoridated and all that. Plus, it evaporates. So would I recommend iodized salt? Probably not, because I think it's a waste of money. One, the salt is not full of the minerals. It's been stripped. It's been altered. So I like a good mineral salt, first off, okay? I don't think I would rely on even an iodized mineral salt because of the evaporation. The minute the salt hits the air, the iodine is going to evaporate. So that is why I would probably recommend a pure Lugol's iodine to fortify the iodine that we need. We're probably all very low on iodine, and no, you're not allergic to it. That is a misnomer, or else you'd be allergic to your whole body, okay? Because every cell needs iodine, and we have iodine in our body, and yeah, I don't know, that's just a dumb thing. It's, people said, well, I had dye for a procedure, and and then I was allergic, so I'm allergic to iodine. No, you're not. You're allergic to something else. So that is a good question, Diva. I would not waste my money on iodized salt. I don't think that's a very good salt in the first place. That's a good question. Thank you. I appreciate that. Dr. Christie is switching gears over again. What fats are less prone to oxidation? Any saturated fat will be less, if not at all, oxidized. First of all, we should probably define oxidation, because that is a tough concept to get in, because you guys are hearing, well, we got to avoid oxidation, we got to avoid free radicals, and we don't even really know what they mean, but yet we use these terms. And it's not that I don't want you to use these terms, because you're actually right. I just want to help you understand why you're using these terms. So the definition, whenever we talk about oxidation, whenever something is oxidized, it means that it's losing an electron. And so one of the things that can get oxidized that I like to talk about, so Dr. Christie will talk about something else being oxidized, because her wheelhouse is talking about iron. When iron is oxidized, okay? When iron gets oxidized by oxygen. Oxidation is losing an electron. When something loses an electron, it becomes unstable. So there are other things in our body that want to gain that electron. They want to become more stable. So that is called a redox reaction, a reduction oxidation. So if something loses an electron, it's called oxidation. When something gains an electron, it's becoming reduced. It sounds kind of weird, but that is the process of gaining and adding electrons. Now, just by the very fact of breathing or doing any type of metabolism in our body, we naturally produce free radicals. Free radical examples are like hydrogen peroxide is a free radical. Oxygen is a free radical. Superoxide is a free radical. Hydroxyl radical is a free radical. There's like four main, there are probably hundreds, but there's probably four main free radicals that can oxidize. Now, Dr. Christie's wheelhouse is iron. Maybe my wheelhouse is fats. All of these things can be oxidized. Proteins, your DNA, everything can be oxidized. Our cells. So when she says which fats or what fats are less prone to being oxidized, in order for oxidation to occur on fats, it has to hit an area where there's a double bond. So if we review fats, there's saturated fats that come from animals or coconut oil. They have no double bonds. They are completely saturated with hydrogen ions. So a fat comes in a chain, and each chain is full of carbons. And we count the carbons, and then that amount of carbons gives that particular fat a name. Like, for instance, carbon 16, C16 is palmitic acid, palmitate, okay? Don't ask me all of the carbon names or carbon numbers and their names. I just remember palmitate because I just remember it. Okay, so stearic acid is C18. Okay, bam, here we go. So these carbon chains are saturated with hydrogens. That is a saturated fat. A monounsaturated fat has one double bond. So free radicals or oxidation can occur at that area. They can occur oxidizing that particular double bond. When that oxidation occurs, it makes that particular double bond unstable. And this leads to inflammation. In general terms, you guys, in general terms, the more double bonds, and okay, I want to back up. When we oxidize a fat, the actual term for that is called peroxidation. Peroxidation. So the fat is being peroxidated. It's just a type of oxidation. So peroxidation, if that's just being technical. Hi, Kashila, happy Saturday to you. That is the particular type of oxidation that is occurring with fats. Polyunsaturated fatty acids, either omega-3s or omega-6, means they have more than one double bond. Monounsaturated, one double bond. Poly, many. So more than one double bond in its chain. So it's going to be lacking a hydrogen on that carbon, and it's going to make a double bond instead of a single bond. They have double bonds, and wherever there's a double bond, it can be peroxidized on that fat, okay? a polyunsaturated fatty acid as an omega-6. The most common one that we talk about is omega-6 linoleic acid. He is in everything that's processed. Omega-6 linoleic acid is in processed foods. Those are the seed oils. The big 8 are 3 C's, 3 S's, grapeseed, and rice bran. So the 3 C's, canola, corn, cottonseed. The 3 S's, sunflower, safflower, soy. There's that soy guy again. So when we eat these polyunsaturated fatty acids, they are easily oxidized, peroxidized. When we have cells, we have cell membranes, and on the cell membranes is fat and cholesterol. And that fat is usually, or a majority, to make a cell healthy, it's saturated. But when we eat polyunsaturated fatty acids, PUFAs, seed oils, omega-6 linoleic acid, we are inserting the PUFA into an area on the cell where a saturated fat should be. Now, the cell, because he's got PUFAs around him, that oxidation occurs on the cell itself. And you guys, that is a problem, because now we're leading to cell death. We are actually killing the cell by oxidizing the PUFAs in the cell membrane. It's destruction. And I think what has happened over the years is that doctors or the powers that be that were pushing a certain propaganda, maybe a certain paradigm that you should eat these PUFAs, polyunsaturated fatty acids, because they lower cholesterol. And unfortunately, we've been told that lower cholesterol is what we should be striving for. Because cholesterol supposedly, or we've been told, causes coronary artery disease. And I am under the belief that it is not even close to the culprit causing the coronary artery disease. In fact, I could go so far as to say that when we switched to PUFAs in everything, even cooking with these oils, we've caused more coronary artery disease, not less. And it's actually not the PUFA itself that caused the coronary artery disease. It's the reactions. It's the reactions that are occurring. There are many things that lead to coronary artery disease. It has to, under what I believe, and you guys, again, I am just presenting information. I could easily be wrong. And you know, some of you guys have problems with this, okay? And I do too. I do too. Our ability to have some sort of credentials is on the ability for us to have authority over you, okay? So when I say I'm a doctor, automatically I am using an appeal to authority with you guys. Because I have these credentials and I went to school and I did all these things, the way I was taught, I appeal to your authority and I affect your thoughts emotionally. And so if I 15 or 10 or 8 years ago was on the bandwagon with prescribing statins because I truly believed that LDL was the cause of coronary artery disease. Now, did I push the statins? No. Did I fire patients because they wouldn't take statins? No. I had few and far between patients that would even deny my recommendation to take a statin. I can put them, maybe 20 patients said, I'm not taking that, Dr. Jensen, and gave me reasons, even 10 years ago. So, why or what actually causes the coronary artery disease is some sort of an injury. Can a PUFA cause an injury? Yes, because it's getting incorporated into cells. Can sugar? Yes. Can nicotine? Yes. Can microplastics? Yes. Can heavy metals? Yes. We're breathing in toxins that can lead to coronary artery disease. And I know we can't stop breathing. I know it's hard to stop drinking the water, but we can make changes in our water. We can filter it and add back minerals so you can get a reverse osmosis system. And you know, there's things that we can do, and you know where this kind of hits home for me, and I hate to always share personal stuff, but you know, I was reading this book about PUFAs, and then I listened to podcasts about PUFAs, polyunsaturated fatty acid. I'm just shortening it, and it's very difficult when it comes to helping family members or even friends. Just anytime we get close to people, we lose almost the credentials of helping them with their health. And so I want to share with you something in regards to my mom. So my mom's got Parkinson's. Many of you guys already know this. My mom's got Parkinson's disease. And over the years, it's gotten worse to the point where she uses a walker. So fortunately, she can still walk, but she walks with a walker. But when it comes to her ability to eat or drink, she cannot hold things. So if she were to take a bottle of water, it shakes and she can't get it to her mouth and be able to not spill. So we got long straws, and I try to encourage her, instead of picking it up, you know, we put it in the cup holder, and then she leans over and takes a drink. Okay? What about eating? So imagine if she had a spoon or a fork and she's trying to get it to her mouth. So it became difficult. So, you know, she's going to be 80 years old next week. By the way, it's my little girl's birthday today, Tootsie. I started that at the very beginning. It's Tootsie's birthday. She's 6. She was born in 2019, so she was born on the first day of summer, on June 21st. She's my summer girl, and she's 6 today. So I just want to get that. Yeah, thank you for the birthday wishes over there on YouTube. I appreciate it. So what was I going to do with my mom? My mom wants to be independent. My mom wants to stay living in her home with my help. And so we had to talk about what she could eat. And everything that she eats goes way against my belief system. Thank you, Dr. Christie. Happy birthday, Tootsie. Right. So it goes against everything that I teach you guys. And I think she knows what I'm saying, but it's very difficult for her to give up. My mom, I would say, is probably one of the least addictive type potential, okay? She's not one of those people that eats a potato chip and then eats the bag. She could take 3 pretzels or 3 or 4 potato chips and then call it good. And she could eat 1 piece of bread and call it good. She isn't like one of those where once you taste it, you gotta have more. which I'm very thankful for. But at the same time, it made it very difficult for me to find foods that she could eat because she used to eat steak. But with Parkinson's, you actually lose your swallow mechanism. I saw it with my dad. He had Parkinson's as well, a form of Parkinson's. It was called supranuclear palsy, progressive supranuclear palsy. It was devastating, purely devastating, okay? I wouldn't wish that disease on anyone. And I, looking back, could piece together what caused his progressive disease, okay? But I'm looking at my mom now, and I'm seeing this disease progress as well. And I can't stand it. But yet, I'm trying to help her. So if I wasn't there, what could she eat for breakfast? She can eat a Hot Pocket. She can eat a piece of toast. She can eat a bagel because it's finger food. And then she won't eat the rest of the day, which is fine. That is fine. Trust me, that little bit of fasting that she's going through is actually helping her. But then it got to be where she couldn't eat steak. So even if I cut it up, she couldn't eat it because she was having trouble swallowing it. It was just, she wouldn't chew it enough and then swallow it. It would get stuck. 2 times we had to go to the emergency room. Now, luckily, nothing. She didn't have to have any procedures. You know how when you swallow something and it causes a big lump in your throat? She actually thought it was still there, but they took an x-ray and it wasn't there, or they did a scan and it wasn't there. And so that part was a blessing. It actually did go down into her stomach, but yet after those 2 times, it scared her and she won't eat steak. She won't eat hamburger because she doesn't like the taste unless it's in something. So, you know, I've been reading this book about seed oils, and every night, probably for the past 6 months. Again, my mom is a lot like me. We could eat the exact same food every single day, nonstop, and never change anything. So she said, well, I like shrimp. Okay, so I got her some shrimp. Well, the shrimp she wants was the breaded shrimp. And then she wanted breaded fish sticks or fillets. And then we got breaded chicken because she'll eat chicken as long as it's breaded. It's not as dry. Well, why is it not as dry? Because it's full of seed oils that moisten it, and water and all kinds of stuff, all kinds of chemicals. And so for the past 6 months, she's gotten breaded shrimp, breaded fish fillets, breaded chicken, and some sort of potato, French fries, tater tot crowns, full tater tots, curly fries, whatever, crinkled fries, a potato, a fry. And so over the past 6 months, her diabetes has gotten worse. It went from, and she's on medicine, it went from 6 to 6.4. Well, in her eyes, that's not bad. Well, then I started noticing that her thyroid was getting worse, and we keep having to up the dose. So all of these things, another thing, she's had a hip replacement. And now her hips are hurting her so bad. And so I want to read you this. This is from a doctor, and I did actually had the page open to it. I did not plan this, you guys. I did not plan this because I actually planned to talk about thyroid. But it's from a neurosurgeon, and he's a Japanese neurosurgeon, okay? He wrote this in a paper, in the paper, it was from the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease and Parkinsonism. This is when I called my mom this morning, and I said, Mom, I want you to listen to this. And she is very hard to convince, very hard to convince, okay? In fact, she will, if I were to talk about something, she'll go, you know what? I was thinking about this exact same thing, and I thought we should make a change. Mom, are you okay? So instead of getting upset, I just go, oh, great idea, Mom. Okay. But here's what in this paper of the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease and Parkinsonism, this is what it said. If you think vegetable oils such as soybean, canola, sunflower, safflower is healthy, your brain and body will be harmed without you knowing it. If you take linoleic acid, LA, is an omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acid, all of the seed oils. So they're saying if you take linoleic acid and omega-6 fatty acid, which is easily oxidized, loses an electron in delicatessen fried foods, fast foods, processed foods, it rusts your cells. Rusts. So brain function declines. Your mood becomes unstable. Your thinking decreases. Your Parkinson's increases. Your depression increases. Your muscle aches and pains increase. Your thyroid function goes down. Your cholesterol goes up. Triglycerides go up. Diabetes gets worse. Your cells rust. What is rust? What is rust? Rust is the oxidation of metal. Metal. In our bodies, we have metal in our bodies. No, I'm not talking about your hip replacement. We are consuming metal in our diet. We are breathing metal in the air. We are taking fortified vitamins full of heavy metals. And when metal oxidizes, let's just give an example of iron. We have iron in our body in excess. We can't absorb it, we can't use it, it's excessive because it's in all of the processed foods and it's in plants. It's non-heme iron that is not bound. It is free and allowed to be oxidized. When it is oxidized, iron by oxygen, so it needs a free radical in from our body. We have free radicals. Remember the four main ones? Just the fact that we breathe and metabolize things causes free radicals to be produced in our body. They're not bad until they're in excess. Remember, the dose makes the poison. So when these free radicals, like oxygen, it's a big one. It doesn't always have to be oxygen. It could be a hydroxyl radical. It could be hydrogen peroxide. It oxidizes the metal. So in this case, iron in our body that's inside the cells or on the cell membrane gets oxidized by a free radical, oxygen, who loses his electron. He becomes unstable, and in the presence of water, which we have water in our body, it causes rusting. So our cells are rusting, and that leads to cell death. The cells in our body are dying. It's called programmed cell death, otherwise known as ferroptosis. Iron, ferroptosis, programmed cell death, because of these heavy metals and everything that we're eating. It is unbelievable how we are actually still alive. I mean, honestly, can you just think of all of the things? Lucy says, happy birthday, Tootsie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She says, thank you. She's 6 today. My little Tootie girl. What did she have for breakfast? She had turkey and she had chicken livers. I got some fresh chicken livers and I chopped them up, and she had some, they all had turkey. They both had turkey. Okay. They had turkey and chicken livers. Yes, Dr. Christie. Okay, so when we have the free radicals, when there's some of them, it's fine. But when there's a lot of these free radicals, they're left to do nasty things to things in our body, like the PUFAs and the iron, the heavy metals. We're causing this oxidation and peroxidation going on in our bodies all day long. Every time we eat, we're causing inflammation in our body. That's why so many gurus out there push fasting, because fasting allows things to get cleaned up. We allow like a downtime. Okay, oh my gosh, she's not gonna eat. Let's work on this. Okay, let's work on this cleanup. But if we're constantly eating, guess what? We don't have enough cleanup time. And we're being drained of all the cleanup time or cleanup chemicals. And Dr. Christie mentioned one of them as glutathione. He is a master glutathione is a master antioxidant, against oxidation. So we have all of this oxidation or peroxidation going on in our body, like the iron is being oxidized. He's rusting inside of our body. We need glutathione, but the things we're doing are decreasing the glutathione. A master guy, that's not a hormone. He's a master antioxidant. And we have low glutathione by the other things that we're doing in our body. It is a tumbleweed, you guys. And again, it makes me go back to, how are we still alive? And it's because God is so good. God has made so many provisions for us. But you guys know we can't keep up. And that is why we die with diseases. I do not believe we were meant to have chronic diseases. I think it is possible to die without a disease. It's quite fascinating to me, but it's the more and more I learn, it's the things that I'm trying to teach you. And of course, I could be wrong. I've been wrong in the past. I was wrong about statins. I was wrong about LDL. I was wrong. And when we make a change, it's almost as if we lose our credentiality. So the people who were on statins or the people who believe LDL is the cause of coronary artery disease, I lose credentialism with them. So I'm no longer relevant. And it's hard when we make, I think it's a journey, because I admit I'm learning this stuff on the fly like you guys are. And with my background, it's a little bit easier for me to explain it to you and kind of bring it down to your level. Not that my level is much higher than yours. I'm just saying that I'm trying to bring it down. Like when we can talk about rusting, you guys all know what rust looks like. It destroys every metal. And when you can picture that going on in your body, you don't see it. You don't see the cells rusting. You don't see why cholesterol is being produced in excess, because it's trying to help out. You don't see the glutathione going down, but you know it is because you actually believe the gurus telling you that the antioxidants are going down. They are, but they're telling you to take them, supplements. And that, my friends, is messing you up even more. You cannot take a synthetic glutathione or a synthetic vitamin E or a synthetic vitamin C and expect to get the same results. But I hear, in fact, yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I'm listening to a podcast, a very good doctor. I don't know if he was a PhD or an MD, I cannot remember. But they were talking about adding vitamin C, and he gave very good reasons. And so if you're because vitamin C helps our collagen production, and vitamin C helps other things in our body, okay? You know this, it's part of our cascade as an antioxidant cascade to help fight all of the toxins that are going on in our body. And he gave very good things. And a part of my brain was kind of shifting over, and I go, maybe I'm telling people wrong. Maybe we do need to add these vitamin C. And especially if we add vitamin C in the liposomal form, meaning the fat soluble form. So it's gonna get absorbed better. And then I go, wait, Malea, come on, don't backtrack. Why don't they want to take vitamin C? Well, then I go to my head, why do they want to take vitamin C? For the reasons this guy was talking about, the collagen and how our collagen is being destroyed by the toxins that we're putting in our body. Oh my gosh, I was going down rabbit holes with vitamin A and all of these things, okay? I know, I'm like jibber-jabbering right now, but I'm trying to connect some dots for you. If, in fact, we do need vitamin C, and why? It's because, I know, Dr. Christie just said, vitamin C, question mark, question mark, question mark, Earth, calling Malea. I know, I hear you, Dr. Christie, but here's where I can kind of see the other side. If a person is on a high carb, high polyunsaturated fatty acid diet, their vitamin C is low, 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 low. Okay? And so their receptors are being blocked by the sugar, the glucose, because glucose and vitamin C look very similar. I know. So I see a lot of you guys checking your vitamins and minerals in these blood tests or saliva tests or whatever tests that you're using, urine, whatever, and the vitamin C is low. But you guys, it could be high inside the cells or high in your tissue and not being absorbed and used. Something else is getting to the absorption. So we just keep taking vitamin C or whatever vitamin it is because we know we need it as an antioxidant. You know it's low, but it's not because it's showing up low, but it's not being absorbed where we need it. Now, many of you will say, okay, Dr. Jensen, we need vitamin C, and if I'm not eating fruit and vegetables, how am I going to get it? And because you're carnivore, right? Or you're keto. And they don't realize that in all reality, all we need is about 15 milligrams a day. 15, 1-5, not 5,000. But again, I hear where Dr. Christie is saying, Earth to Malea, come on, where's the Dr. Jensen? It's not that I'm reversing my stance. It's just that I'm continuing to learn. And that's where, again, we lose credibility. Let me give you an example. There is a doctor, and I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to go there. There's a doctor who lives in Costa Rica who used to be a staunch carnivore, okay? And now he pushes plants and fruits. And I can't get on board yet. I can't even reverse course. I want to say, Earth to MD, where are you at? Like, what are you doing? Why are you saying these things? Because it's almost like you've reversed course. He has reversed course. Where this becomes a problem is encouraging people to eat these things when it's already in the presence of carbohydrates. People are going to hear this who eat a standard American diet, and they're going to listen to this doctor saying fruits and vegetables are good for you. They're going to eat the fruits and vegetables in addition to their carbohydrates. 90% of the population, you guys, is not carnivore. They're not even keto. They are just eat whatever you see. I see it, I eat it. It is a standard diet across the board, is over 70% of the population. I might be speaking to 5 or 10% of the population who is eating a ketogenic diet, a ketovore, carnivore diet. These other people who are listening to this doctor, it's almost like he's tickling their ear. Oh, that doctor said I could eat fruits and vegetables, because he did say that. But this doctor is not eating what 90% of the population is eating. He's not eating processed foods full of seed oils. He's eating meat. He's eating beef. He rarely eats chicken. He rarely eats any other poultry because it's full of linoleic acid. He knows that. So he's not going to eat excess linoleic acid, omega-6, seed oils. We, in the 90% group, not me, whoever's in the 90% group, is eating polyunsaturated fatty acids. And then he tells them to eat more. You are overwhelming the liver and any other glycogen store, the muscle glycogen store, your liver glycogen store. It's causing more and more inflammation and oxidation. He even went so far and said that fruit doesn't cause diabetes. At the same time, mentioning A1C. Earth to doctor, A1C doesn't measure the fruit. It doesn't measure fructose, earth to doctor. It only measures glycated glucose. Your A1C is not going to go up with fructose. So, yeah, I do question. And I know I lose credibility with people who used to think I was on board with the LDL causing problems. Lucy says, hi, even pasteurized raised chickens are full of omega-6. They are. Lucy, the chickens that you think are pasture raised, they're just not. And you know, they're being fed some grains, okay? They're being fed foods that have omega-6. Even if you gave them scraps, everything that we eat has omega-6. It is important that we consume omega-6 linoleic acid. Why? Because it's essential. Our body can't make it. We must eat essential fatty acids, omega-3s and omega-6s. What is happening is we are eating too much. We don't need very much. We only need like 2%. We're eating 80%. We're eating so much omega-6, and so are the animals. So even if I threw my chicken out in the pasture and I threw scraps at him, he's going to eat bugs, awesome, and crickets and all that, but he's also going to eat my scraps, my tomatoes and my plants and, you know, the kale and the spinach and whatever else I threw out there. He's going to eat. And she's going to eat. And because they are monogastric animals, they cannot process that linoleic acid in excess. It's too much. So then we go and consume the chickens and the turkeys, and we are getting too much linoleic acid. Now, what about cows? That's why I always encourage you to eat ruminant animals. Ruminant are not monogastric animals. Mono, one, like monosaccharide, one double bond. Mono means one. They have one stomach. Humans are monogastric. Ruminant animals, cows. So cows, bison, buffalo, sheep, lamb, they have multigastric. They have rumen. They're going to eat the plants and they ruminate on them. They can use those fatty acids and make protein. Imagine taking a fat and a polyunsaturated fatty acid and making protein. That's what they do. So when we eat a monogastric animal, like a pig, I honestly used to eat a lot of bacon. And I've actually stopped eating bacon as much. Okay, I don't even eat pork as much. One, I kind of got freaked out with the parasite thing. But two, I'm starting to learn about how much linoleics, because all pigs eat grains. So now we're eating that pig full of linoleic acid, And we're poisoning ourselves, just like my mom is poisoning herself with the actual, the breaded stuff. I didn't finish that story, but we wrote a grocery list today. It is nothing like I wanted. I have to find some sort of balance, okay? I don't want to give on you guys. I will never bend when it comes to talking to you guys. Somehow I have to bend because I have seen very bad side effects occurring with my mom as far as her diabetes, her thyroid, her depression, her Parkinson's, her diabetes. We have to get rid of the seed oils that she is consuming in large, large amounts every night. So she decided that she would try steak again, okay? As long as I cut up the pieces, tiny, tiny amounts, and don't leave, or don't go anywhere, just watch her until she finishes her steak. She agreed to hamburgers with the bun. She agreed to hot dogs with the bun. She agreed to hamburger in sauces that go on spaghetti noodles. She agreed to cauliflower. She agreed to some ketchup, salami, and cottage cheese. My list to go to the grocery store today. Something has gone wrong with what we've been doing. I'm going to make some changes per her request. Will she eat chicken? I can try. She likes chicken as long as it's fried. I could maybe try some chicken and cauliflower, but it is high in omega-6, linoleic acid, because of what they eat. So I'm going to try to incorporate beef into her meals. She even said, when I talked about the sauce, guess what? Tootie needs to go to the, I can't say that word because that's the word I use, and she's sitting by the door. I don't know why I'm whispering. Okay, so are chicken and turkey bad for our dogs too? Because they're getting too much. That is a great question. Marnie is asking that question, and I do not know. Do my eat chicken and turkey? Yes, almost every day. But they eat beef more so than anything else. It is a two-way street, Marnie. I don't know the right answer. I know that chicken and turkey are better than kibble. I do know that. But I will never give my dogs plants, ever. So I'm hoping that the low amount of chicken and turkey that they do consume isn't giving them too much linoleic acid. And if they're only eating chicken and turkey, then the linoleic acid will be just the perfect amount, a 1-to-1 ratio, because I do give them some omega-3 oil. If I feed them grass-fed butter, I do, and I feed them grass-fed beef, I do, then I'm hoping they're getting enough omega-3s. Make sense? I do not like giving oils at all. So my fallback is buying grass-fed everything, okay? Then that's going to have omega-3s. Midwest says, my friend loves lamb and she's cooked it 3 different ways. One time was with chutney. I can't remember the others. I know it's super healthy for me, but it tastes like goat smells in my opinion. Okay, so you're not used to that gamey. We've dulled down our senses so much by feeding our animals grain. It's a detriment to us because now people prefer that dulled down gaminess. They don't want gaminess. Once you start eating gamey animals again, it will become natural. That is natural, is to have them gamey. So you're gonna have to slowly adapt. You eat a small amount, and over time, you will gain a tendency to prefer the gaminess because that's the healthy That's the healthiness of it, of that particular animal. What we've done is we've given them omega-6s that have dulled down the gaminess. And we've made that animal basically poisoned. We've given them diabetes and probably mad cow disease. I meant mentally, that cow is depressed and probably has dementia and Parkinson's by the time it goes to slaughter. And then we give them all kinds of other chemicals. We don't even, do you know that there is something that we could feed our cattle that gets them fat and they don't even have to eat anything? Barely eat anything. We can keep the feed amount down. I think it's something that, it's a chip that goes into their ear and it causes them to get fat. Don't ask me to explain it. They can get fat on smaller amounts of their grain. So the farmer saves a ton of money on feed and gets the animal to slaughter faster. It is, the things that I find out is crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. Okay, so Marnie, hopefully I answered the question on the, I know it's super healthy. Okay, so Midwest ribeye. Oh, okay, yep, Midwest ribeye. Stick with the beef, the buffalo, the venison. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Dr. Chrissy asks, why do dogs need less fat? That is a great question. If you give your dog too much fat, so if you give them if I would feed my dogs as much fat as I, a human, take in excess, so I'm almost a 2-to-1 ratio of fat to protein. Dogs do not need that much. They will get diarrhea on the spot. They cannot process it. I don't know if it has, I would have to look this up, Dr. Christie, but you and I both know that it must have something to do with the emulsification from their bile. So maybe their gallbladders don't produce as much bile that can emulsify the amount of fat that's going in. I don't know. That's a good question, but I have found that, yeah, I have to slack off on the butter with them, and I have to slack off on really fatty cuts. Like I was feeding them 70-30 ground beef, and I went up to, I can get a 77, so 77-80, and then I noticed that the diarrhea, it kind of went away. So yeah, you just have to kind of play with it. I believe their body will probably get used to it, but I don't want to make them miserable. And they love anything, so they'll eat steak. I made them veal the other day. Oh my gosh, they love veal. And it was good, I will tell you. It was excellent. Marnie says, so dogs need the beef boiled? No, do not boil your beef. Absolutely not. Like I said, I was getting 70-30, and then I went to 77 and then 80. So 77-80, they do fine with that. The 70-30 was starting to, it's because they were eating ground beef every single day. Sometimes they would eat steak. And I think the raw fat was much easier for them to handle than when it's been kind of pulverized through the machine to make ground beef. I also desired the cheaper ground beef because you're going to get more of the collagen and all of the joints and other, people say, oh, I'm going to get the 97. We used to get 97 all the time. It was pure muscle, pure protein, right? And there was no collagen in it. There was hardly any fat. So we need that fat and collagen, and so do our dogs for their joints, for our joints. So going down to the 80-20 was a huge step for me. Again, I was going against my natural paradigm that fat caused cholesterol, which caused coronary heart disease. Oh my gosh, this was like a roller coaster in my brain. And so I know where you guys are at when you hear some influencers talking about this diet, and then you get over to me and I'm talking about this diet, and you guys are, what do I do? What do I do? And so one, you have to make what's best for you. So what my thing is I want to give you as much information, and then you make the decision for you. I have several clients that will say, I'm going to eat carnivore, mostly carnivore. And they'll do that for, say, 30, 60, 90 days. And then they start incorporating plants back in. And then they'll ask me a question. What plants do you think are best to add back in? None. I'm not going to bend. If you decide you want to add back in plants, and I've given you enough information to tell you how poisonous they are, then you got to do that on your own. I cannot bend. But you just did with your mom. I didn't bend. She will go into a nursing home if she doesn't eat. And I know what happens when people go into the nursing home. Okay? My mom is 80 years old next week. If I can preserve 6 more, 10 more, 15 more years with her by giving her spaghetti, some steak, some hamburgers, some ragu sauce, cauliflower, hot dogs, ketchup, salami, and cottage cheese, and we get rid of the seed oils, her thyroid improves, her depression improves, her Parkinson's improves. Granted, my mom is on glucoferrin. And when we first started glucoferrin 6 months ago, everything was improving. Her labs were getting better. And then we started on finger foods. After we stopped the steak, we started going to the finger foods, and that's where the omega-6 in very, 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 very high doses came in. And now everything is going in reverse. Okay? The joint is hurting. The thyroid's getting worse. The depression is getting worse. The diabetes is getting worse. Everything is getting worse. You guys, I don't know. But I got to do something. I got to make a change, and then we recheck. We're not going off the glucoferrin, but I don't think it can keep up. I think she would have to be on 10 capsules a day in order to keep up with her crap diet that I'm feeding her. So I'm just going to get less crappy, a less crapola, and hope that we can make some changes. It's a tough situation, you guys. Okay, thanks. I'm going to miss the good prices with Wild Fork. I know. Wild Fork has stopped shipping to all states. No zip codes. They're going to lose so much business. I can't believe how many people I have told. I bet 3,000 people I have told to use Wild Fork foods. I don't know what they're doing. They must know. They must know. We're losing a good thing. Marnie says it's a difficult situation with your mom because she is her own person and you can't force things on her. I know it's tricky. It's so tricky. But, these things on the list, after what I have read with PUFAs, it's heads and tails better. And so I have to make this change. And I have to be more, I don't know. Yeah, Dr. Christie, fat family is the toughest. It really is. Dr. Christie, on the 70-30, you just have to look. They have 70-30 at our place. Another thing is they will call it butcher blend. And so I look for butcher blend. I know, Dr. Jensen, you're going to eat grain-fed animals or grain-fed hamburger. I am. I will eat grain-fed because, again, if that is what I can afford at $2.99 a pound, and they have a monogastric chambered stomach, yes, they're going to take care of the omega-6. Will I still get a little bit? Yes, not as much as in chicken. Anything that's a monogastric, like a pig, a chicken, a turkey, they're monogastric. You're going to get more omega-6. Now, can I afford to eat more omega-6? Absolutely. Because I don't eat any processed food that have seed oil, omega-6 linoleic acid. Everything I eat has omega-6 in it. Everything I eat has omega-3 in it. I'm getting a 1-to-1 ratio, maybe even a little less, because of what I eat. Now, if I go and eat on my birthday ice cream and cookies, my favorite, chocolate chip cookies, warmed up in the toxic EMF microwave with chocolate fake syrup on it, and ice cream, probably some delicious, succulent cookies and cream or some mashed up peanut butter goop inside the ice cream. Do you know how long that'll stay in my system? The half-life of PUFAs, just look at how much seed oils, omega-6, is in ice cream. Unless it just says, this is so hard for me to find, I'm not going to order a $10 container of ice cream. To just get cream, it's not like going and buying creamer, okay, where it just says cream and sugar. No, it's hard to find that ice cream. You guys can't find 70-30 ground beef. I can't find ice cream unless somebody just made it for me. Cream and sugar. So you look at the ingredients, the list is this long. And all of that will stay in your system. The half-life is 3 years. Incorporating into my cells, into the cell membrane. PUFAs are displacing my good saturated fat that I ate with my ground beef and my steak and my deer and my sheep and my lamb. Yeah, that PUFA went in and said, Mr. Saturated Fat, you're out of here, buddy. I'm moving in. And now, guess what? I become insulin resistant. Because before that cell membrane was made of saturated fat and made little lipid rafts. Remember I told you about these a couple weekends ago. A lipid raft is on the surface of your cell membrane. And that's where the insulin receptor comes to the surface of the cell and accepts Mr. Insulin. So you have to have a door. The insulin receptor hides out and not hides out. He comes to the lipid raft like the little dock. He comes to the dock on the cell membrane, okay? And he meets Mr. Insulin at the door, and Mr. Insulin says, hey, I got some sugar for you. Would you like some? And Mr. Insulin receptor opens the door and allows the sugar to come in. Your bloodstream sugar goes down, the cell sugar goes up. Mr. PUFA, Mr. omega-6 fatty acid, linoleic acid that was in the ice cream and in my mom's shrimp and chicken nuggets, that PUFA, linoleic acid, displaced that saturated lipid raft. He ruined the dock. He ruined that dock. Now, insulin receptor has nowhere to go. Mr. Insulin keeps knocking on the door. There is no door because the raft, the dock, is gone. So now the sugar stays in the system, the bloodstream. That feeds back to the pancreas. And the pancreas says, oh my gosh, there's sugar in the bloodstream. We need more insulin. Therefore, insulin goes up. So was it because of the PUFA destroying the raft, or was the sugar that caused the insulin to go up? What if it's both? So insulin resistance develops. So which came first? High sugar causing insulin resistance because of hyperinsulinemia, or the PUFAs destroying the insulin raft, which raised the insulin and caused insulin resistance? Either way, it's high insulin. Whether the sugar caused it or the PUFA caused it, it's high insulin. So let's just call it high insulin caused insulin resistance. You guys, our cells are being damaged. I know listening to all of this boggles your mind, and you say, Dr. Jensen, I'm going to give up. I'm just going to give up. I want to tell you, please do not give up. I just want you to, have as much information, and I want you, when you look at that ice cream or those chocolate chip cookies and say, do I really want to poison myself today? Because it's going to last in my body for 3 years. It's sometimes, you guys, I say, you know what? It's my birthday. I haven't had this for a long time. I want to see what it tastes like. And we do these things. But sometimes that trigger is all you guys need to do it again the next day or the next meal. And now you're going down what I would call an alcoholic road or path. Because an alcoholic, we can take away their alcohol And the minute we give them just a little droplet, their brain seeks it out. And now that we've lost control of that alcoholic. The same thing with sugar in your brain. It's just like alcohol. It's just like a drug. And so if I take it away and you've been a year without it, and then all of a sudden I give you some ice cream, I have just caused you destruction. And that's why I would never give an alcoholic more alcohol on a trial basis to see if they're okay. For the same reason, I have patients that I have to really be adamant and say, please don't do it. You're not like me. You are not a person who could eat ice cream once a year and never eat it again till the next 365th day. You have to know yourself. And so fortunately, with my mom, I could take away those chicken nuggets and shrimp and fish sticks tomorrow, and they will stay in the freezer for a decade if I substitute something else. And if I give her the choice, she even said she would eat a can of chili. Now, is there seed oils in a can of chili? Yes. As much as in the chicken nugget? No. See, I have to bend for her. I'm not going to bend for you guys. I want you to make a decision for you. I am not going to make a decision for you. I am going to allow my mom to make a decision. When I said, should we get some cauliflower? Do you know what she said? Because she listens to me. She listens on here. She said, but that's a plant. I said, oh my goodness, you do listen to me. I said, Mom, yes it is. And you know what? That plant is better than your fried chicken nuggets, fish sticks, shrimp, and French fries. Okay, I'm on board with that, Malea. But she doesn't call me Dr. Jensen. I still would like some French fries with my steak. I go, okay, we'll count them out. You can have 10. So 10 French fries. She was good with that. Yes, I have to make decisions. I find, Dr. Christie asks a question. I find some people will get frustrated and distracted and start looking for a quick fix. HRT, hormone replacement therapy, or something else. How do you encourage these people to stay the course? Oof, that's a good question. I use some different tactics, Dr. Christie. Most people want quick fixes. They want to heal now. Once they have the information, they go, oh my gosh, like they don't want cancer, they don't want Parkinson's, they don't want dementia, they don't want diabetes, they don't want high blood pressure, they don't want to be on medicines, they don't want anything. So we got them on board, we got them hooked. Now they want to be healthy, okay? They want to exercise, they want to sleep better, they want to go out in the sun. Now that they know that the sun doesn't cause cancer, they're all about getting out in the sun. Now, granted, here's a caveat to the sun. The sun mixed with glycation and rusting in your cells causes cancer. So recall that you, my friend, have seed oils in your body for 3 years that you've been eating. So would I take my mom, who's been eating seed oils for 80 years, out in the sun? No. No. Her melanin is destroyed. She's got a lot of oxidation and peroxidation going on. She's got a lot of glycation going on. Would I do that? No. No. Am I going to put sunscreen on her? Absolutely not. She's going to sit in the shade. She's going to get some reflection. She's going to be getting some sun exposure, red light, from the being outside, but not enough to damage her skin in such a way from glycation. And so advanced glycation end products is from the sugar, and advanced lipid oxidation end products is from the PUFAs. So she has both all over her body. A lot of it. So if we stop the PUFAs today, she's going to still have reactions for the next 3 years. Just picture that. I mean, it is, but still start. Okay, so back to Christy's, I think encouragement. I find that people don't respond to me like I respond to me. So the best coaches in my world who coached me were the ones that were really, really forceful with me. To the point where it was almost degrading. And you can't do that to some people, okay? Now, my dad used a mixture of degrading me and pumping me up. And so those are the tactics that I like to use. Now, when I say degrading, I don't mean they called me bad names or pushed me down and beat me up or do anything like that. What they did do, for instance, and I've given this particular analogy many times in many of my live streams. When I was being coached, basketball, softball, golf, I was a little more tenderhearted. I do not know why. I think because an individual sport is different than a team sport, okay? And here's what I mean. And you have to, Christy, you have to know who you're talking to, okay? When we coach somebody, when I was on team sports, my coach, if I did something wrong, and he knows I can do it better, he made it sound like that was the dumbest thing I ever did. And here's how he'd say that. Was that a real good move? Were the results what you expected when you did that move? Meaning, if I was going for a ground ball and the angle was all wrong, and I was thinking about throwing it to first base before I got the ball, so I missed it. I had a bad angle. I was thinking about throwing, so I had my head not down, and it went under my legs or something like that. And he would come out and have a little talk with us. And standing in the team at the center in the mound, and he's pointing his finger at me and saying, was that smart? Not only did I let my coach down, but I let my teammates down. And you know what? It worked. Because you know what he came back with next? I know you're better than that. Use a different angle. Keep your head down, get the ball, then throw it to first base. You got this. So he used a little bit of degrading, like, duh. That was dumb. You let your team down, okay? But in an individual sport like golf, I was actually harder on myself. I didn't let down teammates as much. Yes, it was a team sport because you all want to have your score. But my goodness, it was degrading. I was so hard on myself. I was actually making myself worse. So then I needed to have the coach be on the tender side of things. Like, hey, you got this. I need you to turn your hand like this and do this, because if you turn it this way, it goes there. If you turn it this way, it goes there. So you got to have it right down. You got to do this. You got to have your stance. See how you stand. Okay? So he was like detail by detail by detail. It's like, you got this. You've got this. And then everything would change. So we got to know our clients, Dr. Christy. And so we got to keep them on board by feeding them with enough positives to keep them going, yet enough information to keep them from avoiding going down reversing. Okay? They want to take hormone replacement to get rid of their hot flashes. But the process of getting rid of their hot flashes would be getting rid of PUFAs, getting rid of sugar, increasing fat, moderate amounts of protein. Could it take 3 months? Yes. But tell them that in the long run, this is the better for you. This is better for you. Taking the synthetic hormone to get rid of the hot flash is now continuing to poison you. So you're adding a little bit of poison while you're taking it away over here. So it's a double-edged sword. And so you'll never see the numbers. So when I do it, I give them numbers to look at. And I'll say, okay, like my mom, all I had to do was show her diabetes number. And then I showed her thyroid number. And she goes, oh, they're both getting worse. And I said, and look what you've been eating. Well, you give it to me, she said. See, it's always my fault. Right. Whew. I just go, yep, it is my fault. It is my fault. You're right. But sometimes, Dr. Christy, is instead of, that quick fix, is to have them look at the journey, okay? Have them look in the past, show them the labs, have them look and say, look what you're doing. Look at this. It's amazing. But my hot flashes aren't gone. It'll be okay. You just got to say, you got to give them other things, like put a fan in your face, okay? Get one of those bed sheets that have self-cooling, that are cooling. Do something. Wear less clothing. Something you can do to stay cooler, because that's vasodilatory. And I would venture to guess that when when their hot flashes got really bad and they say, I can't do it anymore, ask them what they ate. Ask them about their stress. See, they want to take a hormone to fix a whole bunch of problems that it can't fix. So at first it might help. And then down the road, they got the hot flash and they got all their crap going on. The hormones didn't fix that. All the bad things that they were doing to their body is making it worse. They weren't sleeping. They were stressed, so their cortisol was up. Their sympathetic nervous system was causing a whole bunch of stuff going on. Their vagus nerve was messed up. I mean, it is a vicious cycle. And something Dr. Christy said to me the other day, and you might help me out here. It was on a post about chronic diseases. What did you say, Dr. Christy? Help me out here. You commented on something after I commented. God darn it. Shoot. It's something about fixing, like all we do is we go and fix these diseases. We got like a rheumatologist, we got a pulmonologist, we got the oncologist, we got the cardiologist, we got all these system people. And all of those things are just symptoms of something deeper. So we'll fix our hormones because we got hot flashes, the disease. We fix the diabetes, it's a disease, but there's something underlying. We didn't just get older and get disease. It didn't just perk up overnight. It didn't just happenstance. You don't got it, then you got it. It didn't happen like that. We built up over decades, you guys. This is decades, and you want a quick fix? It doesn't happen. You've been doing this for decades, and we're trying to undo it. Now, granted, I have had diabetics, hypertensives, and obese people. You go carnivore, cold turkey carnivore, and in less than 3 months, they're on no medicines. I would say that's pretty much a quick fix. But then it stabilizes, you guys, and it's a lifestyle. It's a lifetime journey of being healthy. And your definition of health and my definition of health are totally different, okay? Because you could look at yourself and say, but I'm healthier than I was before. Well, of course you are. But you're not healthy yet. You still have metabolic disease. You're still sick inside. You still have internal fat. You're still having hot flashes, aren't you? Yes, that's still a metabolic disease. You still have problems. Well, what else can I change? I went carnivore, Dr. Jensen. You're going to continue carnivore. You're going to increase your fat. You need to sleep better. 7 or 8 hours of full sleep. You need to pray. You need to get out in the sun. You need to stand barefoot on the ground. You need to go for hikes. You need to center yourself with people who believe what you believe in God, in sleep, in carnivore, in no plants, in whatever it is. You need to center yourself around other people who pump you up instead of bring you down. Dr. Christy, you're trying to pump that person up and they're being degraded by 10 other people in their life. And they only got you pumping them up, saying it's going to be, when people tell me something, and they'll text me and say, Dr. Jensen, I blah, 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 blah. And in my head, I'm saying, that's it? And I don't say that because my journey is 100 times more advanced to them. And they just went from here to here. And so my reply to them is, yes, good job. Why? Yay. Yay for you. You just accomplished a humongous thing. Now, is it a humongous thing to me? No. Do I still bend? No. Because To them, they had one less salad a week. I come back and say, now you know about salads. You know about the raw vegetables. Raw are much worse. So if you're going to eat spinach, still, after I told you it's poisonous, at least boil it. At least boil it. But I'm not going to bend. I do not want you to eat it. Okay? So I might find 2 to 3 strawberries in my tiny patch to eat as my dessert today. They will taste super sweet like candy. Of course they will, Midwest Ribeye. They are super sweet like candy. That is what they are. Sugar, glucose, and fructose. They are glucose and fructose. Of course, they're going to taste sweet. So if you, Midwest Ribeye, eat 2 to 3 strawberries every so often, seasonally, because they're in your patch, I guess go with it. But can I condone you eating strawberries after what I've told you? No. Is that you have to make the decision for you, Midwest Ribeye. She also said, or he, I can't remember. I think it's a she. Dr. J, I love how much you love your mom, your dogs, and how much you care about others. You are truly passionate and sincere. Oof. Thank you for the compliment. Oh, but if you knew me, I mean knew me, I am such a sinner. Oh, you don't know me. I think you have to know my caring and my passion is usually one-sided. I want it so bad for you that I can't understand how you don't want it for you. Does that make sense? I want my mom to be carnivore so bad. But what I want for my mom isn't what my mom wants for her. She wants it in theory because she wants to be here with me and my dogs. But yet she can't get past not having ketchup on a hot dog, or not having ketchup on a hamburger, or not having 10 fries with a steak. And that becomes very frustrating. And that frustration, because we're human, leads to anger. And anger leads to me not being healthy. So, yes, I have passion. And yes, I care. I care about you. But at the same time, you don't display the same details, the same love that I do. And for anybody with this type of thinking, it can be detrimental, not as much to you guys, but as it is to me. So if you hear from people or online that I all of a sudden passed away next week, and for most of you who know me, you'd say, oh, I know she was a carnivore. It couldn't have been that carnivore diet. So you do an autopsy and you find out my coronary arteries are clean as a whistle. And I still had a heart attack. That heart attack was not caused by plugged up coronary arteries. It was caused by tremendous amounts of sympathetic overdrive, fight or flight, stress, cortisol, all of these things, insulin resistance. Cortisol raises blood sugar raises insulin. And so I'm only doing negative to myself when I allow you, person, mom, cause me frustration and anger and inflammation and all these things. I hope you understand that. So yes, I care, but deep down inside, I still am mad, angry, frustrated on sympathetic overdrive with cortisol, insulin resistance, can't sleep, can't exercise, can't do these things. And I don't mind sharing that with you because somebody who's listening is exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. And that's why, Christy, talking to your patients who want quick fixes, you have to be that coach that relates to that person. And so you have to get to know the person. The coach who coached me knew that if they jabbed me just enough, it'll get me to improve myself. But if you jab me too many times, you caused a regression, i.e. the golf situation. If you jab me just the right amount, I'm going to make a better pass. I'm going to take a better shot. I'm going to get the ball. I'm going to see the ball coming across the plate. I'm going to do the things because the coach jabbed me just enough and then fed me with, I know you're better than this. I have seen you so much better. And I'll give me an example. You remember the time when you hit the ball over the right center field on an outside pitch? Look for that outside pitch. See, they knew how to coach me. They first told me I was dumb. That was a dumb move. And then say, you are so much better. I've seen it. I know you. And then the next time you get up to bat, bam, over the fence. Or a base hit. Because you got this. I've seen it. You can do it. It's a difference. So we're maybe allowing ourselves to get a little too emotional. Because I can't change any of you guys. I can only give you enough information. And then you know what makes me feel really, really good? Occasionally I'll get a text or an email or a message and say, Dr. Jensen, you've changed my life. And honestly, they may not be carnivore or even keto, but they stopped eating fried chicken nuggets, shrimp. I'm making this up again. I'm just giving you an example. They changed one little thing in their life and it made all the world to them. It changed their life. And again, to me, I'm saying, yeah, but you're still eating crapola, right? I mean, that's where my head goes. I have to choke myself from saying something like that because that person doesn't respond like I do. And that is very difficult for me to, I recognize it and I have to take my mouth shut and instead give them a clap or give them a yay or give them a good job. And you know that people do that to me. They give me the good job. They give me the yay. And you know what I need? I need, that was kind of dumb. I've seen you do better. And I go, yeah, you're right. But if you give me a clap or me a hug or me, I love you, it's like, it's almost condoning the exact behavior, and I might do that behavior again. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. When it's really not okay, because that's not how my brain works. But if you said, that was not so good. Could you do better? I've seen you do better. That's how my brain works. Okay? Dr. Christie says, my son always asks, what side are we going to have? What side are we going to have? My mom does the exact same thing. My clients say the exact same thing. What can I have for a side? When I give them examples, so if they're eating steak, well, what can I have for a side? An egg or 2 eggs. That's not a side. Well, it's on the side. Why isn't it a side? Because their lust is still attached to a plant. Christy, your son is still attached to the plant. The French fry, the oat, the wheat bread, the vegetable, the fruit, anything that comes from a plant. It didn't come from an animal, so it came from the plant. So his lust, he's still addicted to the concept of having a protein and 2 sides. He's been trained just like we've been trained, okay? So now you give him two sides. You give him a steak and a side of eggs and a side of chicken or shrimp or something. A side of butter. People laugh at me. A side of butter. I put a side of butter on my stuff. It's way we've been trained. And so your convictions and your experiences and your emotions are decades long. In your cases of your Christy, your son, he's 21 or something like that. He's had 2 decades of being trained by you. You didn't just all of a sudden, I mean, you and I both were probably in the same boat about 4 or 5 years ago. And then something had to trigger us. And then we start making a change. Okay? So your son hasn't been trained. He's got to undo everything he's been trained about the sides and the got to have this and the that. And you got to have breakfast, lunch, and something. No. That's made up. That's propaganda. That has been pushed on us to get us unhealthy. Remember my comment about the comment that said Here's the thing. Pharmaceutical companies want us sick. Government wants us sick. They want us living off of them until we die, which they want to occur at 65. They want to take our money and then not give it back to us. They say that they're saving it for us as they spend trillions of dollars every single day. I know this is not health care or health. And I don't like people spending my money, okay? I'd rather use my money to buy steak for myself. I don't want to give you the money that you spend it on an airplane or whatever you're gonna buy. They want us sick, okay? We are a customer. And so if they're starting to listen to Dr. Jensen and they're getting healthier, they're losing a customer. They don't want you cured. They don't want your stuff reversed. No one does. I do. I shouldn't have said no one, because no one means no one. I'm a someone, so I'm a one. I want you healthy. I want your stuff reversed. But you're not. I'm losing a customer. Do you know how many customers I have had, clients? Do you know how many clients I have had in the last 2 years? Because I just started this journey. I've had a lot. I can't count, but I've had a lot. It is rare that they come back to me. I've lost a customer because of what I've done. I've not cured them. I've reversed their stuff. I've reversed it, and now I've lost them. They might come back in a year and say, hey, will you look over my labs? Yes, absolutely. But it's a different thinking. I want to gain the next one. And then I lose them because they got better. And then I get another one. And then I end up losing them. And now everybody I talk to, it seems like they're already on board. So where are the customers? There are none. You guys are listening to me. You're getting better. And then you're telling somebody else. And now there's more and more and more of us. So there's going to be less and less customers coming to me. Right? It's okay. It's okay. But in the process, I got to continue to teach you. I got to continue to give you information so you can share it with other people. It's the same with the gospel, you guys. I am a Jesus-believing, gospel-believing Christian. The death, the burial, the resurrection. If there is anything I want you to believe, it's that you need a Savior. And you need Jesus. You need Jesus more than you need to get rid of your PUFAs right now. That's how important it is. Because there's really only 2 choices. Life and death. Okay? And if it's life, then you only got 2 things to worry about. Where are you going? eternal life or eternal death. Now, if you choose death right off, you know what? I don't think there's anybody who can help you. If you choose not Jesus, there's nothing that can help you. And so all of my talk, trying to help you guys eat good, eat for longevity and strength and a brain, all of these things, it's really to keep you alive long enough so that you, if you don't know Jesus as your Savior, to find him. Call it selfish, but that's my love. That's my care. But I could go down rabbit holes with that too. Because just because you believe in Jesus doesn't mean you're going to follow Jesus. Right? And then I go down rabbit holes because I'm like this. And I said, if you're going to follow Jesus, you got to be like Jesus. Or at least try. You're not even trying. Right? So then I get called out again. I just saw what you did. And that was not Jesus-like. I say, yeah, you're right. I've seen you do better. I know you got it in you. I know you can do it. See how my brain works? It's crazy. Oh my gosh. Spaghetti USA just joined me. Spaghetti USA, I told my mom this morning, I told her she could have some spaghetti or noodles if she wouldn't eat chicken nuggets. And she agreed. Then Spaghetti USA just jumped on, and that must be a sign from the Lord saying, hey, you got to do what you got to do. Give her the spaghetti. Just make sure there's some good amounts of beef. Least amount of sugar in the sauce. Least amount of PUFAs in the sauce. Whew, that is going to be a hard. But what about the spaghetti that's made with the wheat, that's made with the glyphosate, that's made with the blah, blah, blah? Oh, no, it's organic, Dr. Jensen. No, it's not. The stuff is in our air, and it's coming down on all of our food, organic or not organic, if there is such a thing. Marnie says it's a broken world. We aren't perfect, but we can make better choices. We sure can. Z Love says, marry an alcoholic. I'm married to a foodaholic. Yeah. Yeah, I know you didn't marry an alcoholic. You married a foodaholic. Pick and choose. You know what? Wow. Yeah, that would be a tough one. Forever Cowgirl says tallow fries for mom. We just put them in the oven though. It's what the fries were actually, are there such a thing as tallow fries? I've never seen them. I will look for them. But yeah, the fries that she had, they already have the seed oils. And then you heat the seed oils even more, which causes more peroxidation, even more destruction, even more inflammation, even more chronic disease. I almost want to kick myself. I do want to kick myself. If my leg could go around and kick me in the butt, because I saw it happening before my very eyes, her diabetes, her thyroid, the joint aches, and she just kept taking Tylenol. And I say, you got to stop these things. And I was actually doing it. And so I have to kick myself. And so I read, and then I'm almost crying, and I call her at 6 a.m. this morning, and luckily she was getting up and going to the bathroom, and then I tell her, and she goes, oh, okay, thank you for caring about me. And then you know what she said? I thought that this was probably the case. And I just wanted to, And I said, are you kidding me? I've been talking 2 years about this to you. But I just closed the mouth, and I said, oh, you're so right. I know you've been talking to me about it, so let's make some change today. I'll go to the grocery store. And she goes, good idea. Okay. Grameen says, thank you for your blessed devotion to our Lord and sharing knowledge to your flock of followers. Happy birthday, Miss Tootsie. Oh my gosh, she passed out by the door. She probably forgot she had to go to the yes. Okay. Let me see what we're kind of pushing up against 2 hours here, and we can always revisit this stuff tomorrow. I am live on Instagram and Facebook, usually Saturdays and Sundays, Saturdays at 9 a.m., Sundays at 10 a.m. This morning, I went live on YouTube and Instagram just for a little spin on things. My Facebook following is not as great as where I would like YouTube to go. I think more people are sharing Instagram. It is very alive on Instagram, not so much on YouTube, not so much on Facebook, but YouTube is rising to the occasion. And I think that there are more clients on YouTube that need to hear what I have to say. There are more people out there who need to hear what I need to say. And honestly, those people that they're listening to, if they're listening to them, that are carnivore, that are ketogenic, that are telling you about excess vitamins and minerals and iron and oxidation and losing electrons and doing all these things, you know what they're not talking about? They're not talking about your eternal life. And I'm not going to be ashamed to talk about the death, the burial, the resurrection. I'm not going to be ashamed to talk about the gospel. If you guys don't want to learn or listen to me share Jesus with you, it's okay. Toodle along. I don't care. I do care, or else I wouldn't be telling you about Jesus. But I can't take in and I can't take in your denial on me. I can plant a seed, and if you turn me off, I can't do anything about that. But if you come to me and say, tell me a little more, now I can plant more seeds. But I'm not the harvester. I will never harvest. Only Jesus can harvest. Only God in the flesh can harvest, you guys. But what I can share with you is that we're all going to die. Whether you eat a PUFA or not eat a PUFA, you're going to die. I want you to be cognizant of where you're going when you die. And I'm going to share that with you. In the process, I think how we lead our lives, what we put in our mouth, what we drink in our water, how we sleep, whether we get in the sun, what we value is a reflection on God. God gave us this. In so doing, he gave us free choice. That's why you have choice. You can choose whether to eat a PUFA or not eat a PUFA. But when you have a relationship that gets deeper and deeper and deeper with God, you want to take care of what he gave you, i.e. your fortress, your vessel, your temple. You're living in it. And how you show it out in the open is a reflection, I think, of how you think about your relationship with God. Now, is that 100% across the board? Absolutely not. Because how you look at your body in the mirror could say, hey, you know what? That's pretty good. Or I'm pretty thin, as you drink 10 drinks and eat Doritos. You see, looks are deceiving, but where's your heart? Where's your thought process? Do you just want to abuse? Because you know that those things are poison. Oh, you don't? Then you're not listening to me long enough. You haven't listened to me long enough. Because you should know that Doritos are poisonous. And so is alcohol. And so are plants. They don't want to die. They don't want you to chop them up into tiny little pieces. They don't have claws and teeth to fight back. And neither do cows. But you don't even take care of the cows. What do you mean, Dr. Jensen? Well, you're feeding a bunch of grain to them in a tiny little stall. That's not nice. How do you respect them? Well, we're supposed to eat them anyway. We have dominion. We sure do. But you're supposed to appreciate the dominion that you have over that, and you don't. You want to give your cow diabetes and a little chip in the ear to grow them fat and then slaughter them in 2 months or instead of 6? Ahmed says, good morning, Mrs. Jesus, peace be upon him, is the Messiah and messenger of the one and only God. Well, yeah. Okay. Z Love says, yes, me too. Crying now. So hard. So hard. It's okay. Crying is, it's okay. Melanie says, people are starring away from Facebook because it can be so volatile in this political climate. Steering away. Yeah, it is. I have my own politics up here. I have my own heart, which I call, it's not a religion, but I call Jesus. And, I'm not afraid to share those things with me because they're all intermingled. But we are causing division. Even in what I'm teaching you, I'm causing division. I'm causing division with you guys by sharing with you a ketogenic lifestyle. When another person who's a plant-based person is going to clash with me, and we're causing division. So the animal-based people are going to fight with the plant-based people, and we're causing division. And the Jesus-following people and the not Jesus-following people are going to clash. And so where I focus me is I'm going to focus on truth. I want to focus on truth. And I'll go down all kinds of rabbit holes. In fact, Dr. Christy sent me, and I know we talk a lot, Dr. Christy and I do, and I'm not going to go down the rabbit holes she's going down. She's probably not going to go down the rabbit holes I've gone down. But she sent me something this morning that she wanted me to talk about today. And I said, I'm not sure I can talk about that. I have no idea. I mean, I have an idea, but I can't just talk about something when I don't know enough information. Okay? I can't share any type of knowledge if I don't have enough. And so I find myself, I'll have to go down about 10 different rabbit holes just to be able to talk to you about it. Because I want to, if you ask me a question, like you counter me, I need to be able to not counter you back, but explain my rationale. And much of what I do might not even be scientific. I kind of a lot of my stuff is I'm thinking logically. I think logically. Oh, Facebook name for please want to see comments. Facebook name. Z Love. I'm on Center Stage Primary Care. Center Stage Primary Care is my Facebook handle. Center Stage Primary Care. Okay? So let's call it quits today. Let's meet back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Central. If you want to consult with me, go over labs, talk about diet, talk about exercise, talk about these things, you can email me or message me. But my email address is IronLadyDoc, IronLadyDoc, IronLadyDoc at AOL.com, AOL.com. And, let's talk. I think my prices are reasonable. I've been told that they're reasonable, but it has to be an investment. If you can't invest a small amount for me in your health, then you're not ready. You're not ready. You're not on board yet. You're still floundering. You're still wanting to dabble in your lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. Not that we're ever going to get rid of those things, but because we're human and because we're sinners, and we're never going to get rid of them until we meet with Jesus. But we can improve on those things. And our journey in life is to improve on what I think are the 3 biggest lusts that deter us from having the relationship with Jesus that we all deserve. And it keeps him from having the relationship with us because we are clashing. We're clashing because we want the love of the world, like our side dish, yet we want to be loved and to accept Jesus. So we're clashing. The world tells us, tickling our ear, just a little bit of side isn't going to hurt us. A little bit of ice cream on your birthday is not going to hurt you. And then over here, the relationship part says, are you doing it because it's a lust? Is it a lust of the eyes? I look at it, I want it. Is it a lust of the flesh? But it feels good. Is it the pride of life? I can have it. I can have whatever I want. I'm my own person. You see how those things get us every day because we live in this world and it's influencing us. That's why, Melanie says that Facebook is getting volatile. It is because we're living in this world and of this world, and we need to set our eyes above. And so when we search more above, search and focus our eyes above, our lust of our eyes for this world become less. Our lust of our flesh to the emotional, whether it be promiscuous sex or feeding ourselves with ice cream, whatever it is, lust of the flesh, the feel good, the emotional, dopamine, yuck, right? When Jesus should fill that boat for us, that vessel. And it's not. Is it impossible? No. But it's going to be a journey and we're still not going to be complete until we're there, right? So when I think of trying to ease my lust of the eyes, I want what they have. Lust of the flesh, just do it. Just feel good. Just drink the beer. Do the thing. Eat the ice cream. You're okay. You're going to die anyway. That's a horrible thought. Okay? Pride of life. I can do whatever I want. The pride of life. I'm always right. You're always wrong. That's pride of life. We are all doing one of those things every minute of the day. And our goal is to calm it down as best we can. And we need help. We need help from other believers. And the way you're going to do it with me, Dr. Jensen, I've seen you do better. That was a no-no. I've seen you do better. We're going to do it this way. Right on. I got you. And in the other person, it might be, I love you. I care about you. You can do it. You can do it. Softer, tender. Okay? Jesus does both. He hits us hard, obedience, and then he softens it. I love you. I forgive you. I'll always be here for you. I'll walk with you every step. It's a beautiful thing, you guys. So let me see where we got going on here. We will end this. We'll meet back tomorrow, Lord willing. I'll be back tomorrow. That's it.